Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the podcast room in Accounting Web Towers. That's where I am at the moment. My name is Mike Goldsmith. I'm head of events here at Accounting Web and Sift Media. I look after the Accounting Excellence Awards here at Accounting Web. There's lots of changes this year. We've got a new team. We've got a new venue, which we've just been gossiping about in the green room, and also lots of new categories. And two of those categories are around ESG and DEI and what we're calling the Pride Awards. So to discuss all of these new awards, the landscape for accounting at the moment, which means we're able to launch these categories, we have some guests. So first of all, we have Peter Ellington. Now, Peter is a judge on our Pride ESG Award. Peter has written passionately about ESG and why accountants should care about social responsibility. And as CEO of Triple Bottom Line Accounting, Peter offers clients a net zero sustainability reporting service that integrates into an advisory capacity, real hot topic for accounting in 2023. We also have Blair Palmer. Blair is a judge on our Pride DEI Award. Blair is a culture and leadership specialist of That People Thing since 2000, and she's dedicated to preaching authentic human connection, trust, empowerment, and continual innovation. We're not doing software awards right now, are we? Which is great. This is like accounting excellence. You can see is more and more about the people behind the tech. The tech has become normalized, which is fantastic. So it's about kind of releasing people's capacity. But first of all, I want to turn to Kevin McCallum. So Kevin is hugely experienced in accounting tech from his roles at Free Agent and Accountancy Manager, and he is now CEO of Bright, who are sponsors of our Pride Awards for 2023 and 2024, which is brilliant. So, Kevin, welcome. Why sponsor the Pride Awards?
Thanks for having me, Mike. We're really excited to be sponsors of the Pride Awards. I think Bright itself is quite a new entity. So we came together, various different businesses that we brought together. So there's Bright Pay, payroll software, Accountancy Manager, you mentioned, BTC Software we acquired in Ireland, there's Relate and Surf as well. So some of these businesses are sort of 20, even 30 years old in some cases. And Bright, though itself as an entity, only really kind of came into being about a year ago, there and thereabouts. So I think we've got an opportunity to be now thinking of ourselves as a kind of startup again, even though there's kind of heritage and history and capability and understanding experience. But I think in that, in 2023, looking forward, that there's a real opportunity to be quite intentional. And you mentioned the word authentic as to the human values that go along with that. So we're very, very keen to support anything that actually makes the accounting profession more human. Technology, yeah, fantastic. You need to be efficient. You need to be able to do these kind of bits and pieces, but that can also be supportive of various other aspects. So, people being able to work remotely for various reasons, whether that's, through neurodiversity requirements they might have, or even just kind of accessing people kind of in this kind of environment rather than having people into an office. And then on the same side, Peter, I'm sure, is going to talk quite extensively and I'm sure very detailed about ESG as a thing and how technology can support that. So it's something we feel very, very strongly about at Bright and something we're investing in for ourselves as our business. So we're keen to kind of be able to reflect what our customers and our users are thinking about to the world today as well.
That's fantastic. And if we could turn to Peter about that. So we were just chatting away, and the first time I met Peter after we'd spoken a couple of times was Peter was on a session that was run by Alistair Barlow about the new niches that people could explore. And he presented ESG as one of those, a little bit of a reductive way of describing it, but he happened to win. So as Kevin says, I think he will be speaking quite eloquently about this and very persuasively. So Peter, welcome. Where do you think ESG sits in accounting in 2023? I mean, it's no longer a nice to have, is it?
No, it should be core to people's advisory services that they're developing. So I can explain what we're doing at Triple Bottom Line Accounting. We're a small accountancy practice, but with a big punch in this area. And advocacy is the game, So we've been talking to software vendors, for example, about how they can put the net zero measurement tools against their software. And so, it becomes that you've got your pound notes in the accounting software, and then your carbon as another currency sitting alongside it. And these measurement tools are really quite good. And it does really show how accountants can be counting the carbon and then taking that information and working with their clients to put together a net zero plan for them. So it's really in the domain of accountants. It's not sustainability consultants. Accountants can do this stuff and be there. So what we're doing at Triple Bottom Line Accounting is trying to be an exemplar for what ESG and sustainability means and what it means to be in that field. So on the boundaries of what's possible. So we have a net zero service. We are a 4-day week employer, although that has its challenges. We're building sustainability into our advisory services. And people might have heard when they're talking about net zero is you measure your scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Okay, emissions. Scope 3 is what you buy from other people. There is actually a 4th scope, and it's called scope X. And scope X is when you're campaigning on behalf of the planet and society to improve the world. So how much of that are you doing? And so what this award is about is I think that accountants have been labelled with the sort of people that reduce your tax, do your accounts, and are about short-term things. But actually, the more I'm talking about this subject area, the more I find out about what great things people are doing in their communities for the environment as accountants. And it's we kind of shy away from it, from boasting about these things. And this is an opportunity for accountants to be proud of the things they're doing. People helping the local schools, all those sort of things, so that where people are proud, and accountants should be putting applications in for this award because they're doing good things, and so let's celebrate that. And so, it's the environmental stuff, which is what you're doing for planet and nature, society, which I'm sure Blair's going to talk about a little bit more as well, is about what you're doing for people and society, how you're a fair employer, how you've helped people within your teams, and so on, helping all the diversity within your team, getting people to bring themselves to work. And interesting saying that, because the trouble is when you get people to bring themselves to work, they then decide where they really want to be and they leave. but that's another story. And then the governance. I think people often sort of cloud the governance and think that it's items, but actually I think it's more about deciding what you're going to do, documenting it, and then holding yourself to account and your pledges so that you roll out those ESG things fairly across your business, okay, and help your clients. But I'll stop talking a minute. But the big thing, the big opportunity, and it's a profit-making opportunity. It is the ability to start putting sustainability into your advisory service. So who are your clients going to talk to when they want to get a competitive advantage in their market, or to mitigate the risks of climate change and other biodiversity loss and so on? Who are the best people to talk to? It's their advisors, their accountants. Because not only can we make suggestions to them and brainstorm ideas with them, but we can also then build it into their numbers and work out the optimum points for when they invest in these things and when they de-risk their business. We've got the numbers, so we can help them make sure they make the decisions at the right points. And so, it's about bringing those examples of how you've helped your clients and how you've run your business, taking these environmental and social aspects into account. That if we can get some great applications, I'm sure that we'll get a really good winner of this award.
Entries opened on the 14th. They've been open for a couple of weeks. They're like flooding in now. I recommend everyone get their entry in who's interested in these categories. Our producer is going to be pinning a entry toolkit, which you can download from this webinar. There'll be a link to that in the episode page, and it's also on the Accounting Excellence website as well. I'm just kind of broadening that out to everyone. I mean, it's like one of the questions where when I think about who's going to be entering this, I imagine the cliche is it's going to be people who care about it. And I mean, Peter, you've just about touched on it. And so it's not just people who really care about this, because we're going to get the kind of tofu eating wokerati criticism, aren't we? You can see it now. but actually that more and more, like Peter's saying, that this is normal, in very inverted commas, people who just, care about what they do with their business. Are you finding it changing, the people who care about the planet?
Absolutely. We've got some really good examples recently of people that you just wouldn't expect to be concerned about this area. We've got a removals company that want to be the greenest removals company in the country, and their logo with moving to sustainability. And we're looking at how they can reduce their emissions, because removals companies, a lot of waste management. So how are they managing their waste management? And so we're looking at the ESG concept, and he wants to be seen as a role model in this area, which is, it's just a super case study, because this guy's a boxer and you just wouldn't expect him. He says, I'm not a tree hugger, but I can see this is a great opportunity for my business. And it's just a case of bringing the awareness, and the clients are going, oh, yeah, well, can you help me on this? And like, for example, I was talking to the ICAEW last week, and they've said they've got 12,000 firms helping 3.5 million businesses. So if this is accountants can have such a mega impact on sustainability here, and you don't have to do it because you just want to be kind. You can do it as a side issue because it's a good thing to do, but it's part of your service. You should be charging decent money because your clients will benefit from a marketing perspective, and there's major cost benefits to be had here. So it's just about being an accountant to your clients and bringing in the sustainability. But a lot of people say, well, don't know where to start. And my wife would say, you start by starting. But, you've got to get some of your accountants, some of the people who work in your business, off onto some of these sustainability certificates. So the ACCA have a sustainability certificate. ICAEW have a sustainability certificate. They're about £300. They take about 20 hours. And so it's getting that knowledge. And as soon as you start grabbing some of that knowledge, it becomes very sort of like evident where you can help your clients, from when you start doing their budgeting and working with them on advisory, where you can bring the ideas in. So it's, start by starting, get somebody on some training courses. And in fact, if you're running a practice, go on it yourself, because you probably enjoy doing it. Just, taking away the unknown, the mystery around this. It's not that, it's reasonably straightforward.
I think we can put some links to those. We can, this is the sound of me editing the episode page afterwards. I'll make sure that we have those